The ceremony begins with the women of the family saying a prayer to the ancestors, as well as giving them cola and water. A spiritual bath is prepared for the purification of anyone entering the home of the baby. Only women and uncircumcised boys may enter the house during this time. The family says farewell to the mother, who they will not see for the next 7 days. While inside, she must not eat any food containing salt. The father of the baby must live on his own until the ceremony is completed. His job is to make sure all provisions are provided for each stage of the ceremony, as well as to greet the guests that arrive to support the family. The oldest daughter of the father acts as the surrogate for the mother, because the mother of the baby has not had this ceremony conducted for her as a child, so she cannot be a part of the ceremony for her baby. So through the daughter, the mother is able to re-establish the family connection to their culture. The Taino, which are adepts of Vodun, place 7 strokes on the left shoulder of the surrogate and the baby. The other women receive a different amount of strokes depending on their place in the family. The white strokes represent purity, the red strokes represent protection. Then, the spiritual elements needed for the exit ceremony of the baby are prepared. The Taino create a special spiritual necklace for greater purification and protection, and to bring the baby and the surrogate closer to their ancestors. They face the sunrise and call their ancestors to ask for their blessings for the family and for the ceremony. They prepare special foods of 2 different categories, those containing salt and those without. The Taino communicate with the divinities and the ancestors and say a prayer to ward off bad energy and prevent possible dangers that could arise in the life of the baby. They drink and offer cola to the spirits and read the way it falls to ensure their prayers were heard. Fa is conducted for the baby to see if she has the blessings of the divinities and their ancestors, and also for the upcoming ceremony to ensure it is successful. The baby is symbolically fed the food and water, while the surrogate of the mother eats it for her. All family members and guests share in the spirituality of the ceremony by eating and drinking together in the spirit of unity and respect to the divinities and the ancestors. Through these 3 small piles of sand, the Taino feed the divinities and the ancestors to replenish them and give them strength so that they have the energy they need to protect them. Everything that is fed to the spirit, the family eats and drinks as well. The father of the baby pays respect to all of the family and guests that arrive to support them, and listens to the advice of his elders. The family of the mother attend the ceremony and a show of their support. Their visit is finalized with the taking of a family photo. Now it is time for, and I quote, the flush of the head of the baby. It means the clearing away of all evil that hovers around her and anything that can harm her spiritually. This is the rebirth of a new life for the baby. As the nervous mother watches on, we reach the climax of the baby's exit ceremony, where her tears release the last of any negative energy in her life. The mother is consoled by the mother of the father as the flushing of the baby's head is concluded. Her head is anointed with the spiritual oil, and the baby is made to feel her own head so she can recognize the change in her life. Tomorrow, the baby will be introduced to their mystical ancestor, who is the supreme deity of their family. At this stage of the ceremony, the surrogate places the baby on her back and does a series of domestic chores around the house. This ritual is to show the importance of the woman in the household. The surrogate will do chores like sweeping, fetching water, washing laundry, chopping wood, and cooking. This is the first time the baby has been carried on the back to conduct these chores, and from this moment on, the mother is allowed to do this housework with the baby. At the end of the exit ceremony, a photo is taken of the parents, the surrogate, and the generational line of mothers of the family. The next day at 5 o'clock in the morning, everyone goes to the place where the shrine for the mystical ancestor and supreme deity of the HOUNON family lives. This place is the royal palace of DADA, DAAGBO, HOUNON, HOUNA II. The Taino sit the surrogate mother down and count 7 times before giving her the baby to hold while preparations for the naming ceremony begin. The chief supreme spiritual leader of Vodun, DADA, DAAGBO, HOUNON, HOUNA II, who is also the grandfather of the baby, prepares the Vodou of the supreme deity of the family for the ceremony. The Taino carry the Vodou and its water to the place of its dwelling. The women hold a very special place in every Vodun ceremony. No stage of a ceremony can be completed without their participation. The supreme spiritual leader calls and communicates with the Vodun and ancestors through sacred water. The Taino prepares spiritual elements and special foods that will be used for the traditional naming ceremony. Through the 3 small piles of sand, the Taino are able to communicate with the ancestors and the supreme Vodun of the family. They again read the way the water falls on the sand, and once they receive a favorable sign, they continue with the offering. They conduct fa to read the energies of the Vodou and of the baby. Then the Vodou is fed with the blood of a chicken so that it has the energy it needs to protect the ceremony and the baby. It is also fed specially prepared foods. Again, the baby is symbolically fed the food and drink while the surrogate consumes the food in her place. In the spirit of unity, the family shares the ceremonial food of the Vodou. There are no separate plates, as the family eat from the same calabash as a symbol of their unity. Upon arrival of the chief supreme spiritual leader, the Taino and the women of the family are the first to greet him. According to their tradition, he has brought the holy water of the ceremony, and before he drinks, he pours libations for his ancestors and the divinities. Afterwards, the water is shared with the rest of the family, as well as the jinn. After everyone has shared the holy water and jinn, the baby is brought to the chief to receive her spiritual name. This name is important for the child because it is the name that will represent the energy of her spirit. This cements her rebirth into the world. The child is given the name Bayun, which means life is good. The baby is presented to the rest of the family, and they all greet the child again as if it were the first time. The father receives the baby and whispers a special traditional prayer to welcome her into the family. It is at this moment that he learns the spiritual name of his child. The baby and the surrogate, in place of the mother, greet the supreme leader with her new name. The baby is now presented to the community, while they sing the traditional song with the baby's name. After the ceremony, the voodoo of the supreme deity of the family is returned to its original altar. Now, the surrogate with the baby on her back plants seeds, representing the new life of the baby. Special seeds are harvested. The Taino separate the seeds and slowly roast them. Fa is performed to ensure that the ceremony was properly done and that they have the support of the ancestors and the divinities. After a successful reading, the surrogate is fed the roasted seeds. This concludes the entry ceremony of the baby. Now it is time for the baby to receive her traditional scars. The camera was not allowed past this point because this is a private and sacred ritual. At the time of our ancestors, this ritual was practiced for Africans to easily identify themselves according to their ethnicity, clan, and their culture. Also, special herbs are placed in the scars for spiritual protection. The family take the baby to the Bakono, who does fa for the baby. Here, the parents will learn the destiny of their child, what spiritual sign the baby is under, the professional career that is best for the child, any health risks or dietary restrictions, and instructions to the parents on how to best raise the baby. The next day, they perform a ceremony at the market. The baby is escorted to the market for the first time by one of the Taino and other family members.
It is the food we are bought. Okay. There are many food here. There are bread, there are biscuits, there are everything, bananas, everything. Okay. Yes.
We buy food and we give to the community to have his blessing and his protection. Okay, the baby, the divinity will bless the baby, and the baby will have his protection. Okay.
When they return home, water is poured on the ground to wash away negative energy before the baby enters the home. They make offerings at the altar of the ancestors and divinities of their home. This is the altar for the twins in the family who have died previously. Here they perform the final ritual, an offering to Ogun, the divinity of the family. A circle is formed, and offerings of cola and palm oil are offered to Ogun. The baby is placed in the circle and made to sit for as long as she can to introduce her to the divinity. With this, the ceremony is complete.